Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think it's of outreach. So just this week we did an HBCU virtual job fair. So again, when we talk about social justice, we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we know sometimes those students don't have the resources and probably are never thinking about working for a professional sports team. And so our friends at American Airlines sponsored that, and we were able to provide some education and opportunities about working in sports, and then also with American Airlines and other major corporations.
My name is Dr. Mark Williams. Welcome to my masterclass. I have a PhD in education from West Virginia University. I have a master's in sport management and an MBA from the University of Massachusetts. I even have an undergraduate degree in sociology from William Patterson University. And currently, I'm the Global Scholar Practitioner at HBCU, Florida Memorial University. But I also work for 3 of the largest sports brands in the world, Reebok, Champ Sports, and Foot Action. But I can't go anywhere without my Jordan 1s. Join me and my guests as we explore their rise to the top through adversity and challenges. It's time to help you find a hero in you. Welcome to my masterclass. Good afternoon, good evening. I'm not even sure where you are in America, in the world. I have no idea. Welcome to Dr. Mark's Masterclass podcast. This is my second podcast in the last few months. As many of you know, my mother passed away suddenly. Mom was here with us for the last 9 years, had lupus, cancer, and diabetes, but COVID took out my mother. I'm not happy about that. I do not like COVID, and we have to practice social distancing. You know, typically I'm inside wearing this joint, but right now I'm practicing social distancing with my amazing guest today. But this right here is going to save your life, my friends. Also got vaccinated. How many got vaccinated? I know it's a personal choice. I got my Moderna. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not get vaccinated until my mother was diagnosed with the deadly disease, and I just said, you know what, I'm going to do it. I did it, and I don't regret it. I have not been sick at all since the pandemic. Last 2 years, I've not been sick. And I pray that I will continue not to be sick. I drink my tea every day, thanks to my dear friend from Taiwan over here. She's smiling. You can't see her. Infectious smile. Great tea. But I want to say thank you to Maps Esports, who puts this whole thing on, to our fearless leader, Jacob Mile. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And we're powered by Innovation Media Enterprise. Aaron and Sia, thank you for holding me down, always engaged, always making me sound great on the 1s and 2s. Now, some of you are like, what's the 1s and 2s? Okay, we ain't talking about no DJ, but he's like a DJ. He's my DJ. He actually makes me sound good. He's a sound engineer, Brother Gage over here. And again, we have a very special guest here today, my amazing AKA sister. People are like, what's AKA? Also known as? No, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Hello. Come on.
They know.
In the building. Now everybody don't know. We got to educate these cats in here.
Our Vice President of the United States of America is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
But some people just don't know. We got to educate.
They know today.
Until today, we got to educate some folk. So we've got the Vice President of Social Responsibility and the Executive Director of the Dallas Wings Community Foundation. The Dallas Wings is a basketball team of the WNBA. That's right, here in Dallas. And she is the former Vice President of Social Responsibility for Panther Lacrosse Club. We're going to talk about that. That's kind of an interesting jump. The owner of Photo Booth. Very interesting. I got a chance to see her do her thing as a CEO of Photo Booth, because she was in the very first game I went to of the Dallas Wings this year. She was, kind of doing the thing, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. We're going to talk about that as well. And she was a former director of leadership of the Dallas Regional Chamber. Shout out to my man Eric Griffin, who also was on the show earlier. So we want to give a great shout out to my dear friend LaDondra Wilson. What's up? How you doing?
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Happy to share and hear from your amazing audience. So thank you for having me.
I'm smiling. I'm always smiling, but I got to brag on my girl. She bought me a nice gift here. Got the swag over here from Dallas Wings. Let's see what you got me over here.
Oh, yeah. We got to get in with some wing swag.
Some wing swag right here. Got me my thermal cup here to drink my tea in. She didn't know I drink a lot of tea, but I got my, you know what I'm saying? We're going to put this out here, let everybody know, show this off over here.
Awesome. Put your tea.
What we got? This is pretty dope. What is this right here?
It's a rally towel of our new Rebel jerseys. You'll see me repping the shirt, but that is a limited edition Rebel jersey towel.
We're going to put that here. That's going to go in my office at Jarvis Christian College. You see Jarvis, y'all know about Jarvis out there in Hawkins.
HBCU.
HBCU. And, I'm going to put this last. It looks like, okay. And then we got something really special here.
Hot off
Slam
the press.
magazine cover. My girl, Enrique, my favorite player in the WNBA, Dallas Wings. Okay, Notre Dame star. This is amazing on the cover. This is the first time women have been on the cover?
First time WNBA players have been on the cover of
Wow.
Slam. Hot off the press, just got it this week.
Wow.
Enrique and the team just saw it this week. We're excited.
Wow.
Several other Dallas Wings players are featured as well. And if you guys know the spelling bee champ, Zaila, if you open the very back cover, we had her at Dallas Wings game, the first WNBA team to bring her to a game. Go over a couple of more. She also made the inside of Slam magazine represent the Dallas Wings. Yes.
Oh, nice. And she's a great
Zaila.
ball player, too.
Oh, amazing ball
Wow.
player. So she stayed over. Mariah Jefferson is her favorite player, and her and Mo hung out and did some drills after the game. So I was excited to bring her here to Dallas.
So Bethany and Diamond DeShields are on the cover. This is awesome. And our own Enrique is on the cover. Now, when am I going to say hello to Enrique? Because that's my favorite player. You know that.
You got to hurry up because she'll be out of the country soon.
Okay. So we're going to make that happen. You heard it first here. But this right here, I got an autographed copy of the Dallas Business Journal 40 Under 40. Our very own LaDondra's on the cover. This is so dope. And she signed it for me. This is so dope. You're on the cover.
I'm on the cover.
How did you feel about this?
It's crazy. I'm still actually shocked. I walk around town and people actually recognize me, which is cool and scary at the same time.
Oh, yeah. So what is that like walking around town and people are like, oh, LaDondra, hey, girl, how you doing?
I don't know if it's all that, but it's definitely like, hey, were you on that cover? So I'm joined with, of course, 2 other members of cohort, but yeah, 40 amazing leaders. I'm just happy to be in the only person from a sports team, so that's super exciting.
And did people ever walk down in Dallas and say, can we touch your hair? Can we touch your hair? You see how lovely your hair is?
We don't play those games. There may be a question, but that's not going to happen.
That's so funny. Okay, so when I met you, we met, my goodness, about 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to go to UNT's, University of North Texas. They had a boot camp for the graduate school. And our dear friend invited us, Bob here, Dr. here, invited us, and we had a chance for the whole weekend to engage with the amazing students, graduate students in sport management at UNT. It was a boot camp sponsored by the Dallas Cowboys. So we got a chance to spend 2 amazing days with the students, and we got a chance to hear the sisters speak. We hit it off, and we've been talking, communicating ever since. And one of the things I found interesting about your background, you didn't really work in sports prior to the Wings. How did that even happen?
I'm literally a rookie. So our last game is Sunday, first season wrapping up. I can't use rookie that much longer, but I'm going to use it until I can't anymore. But yeah, actually, COVID has attacked us in so many different ways. And for me, I was laid off from the Dallas Regional Chamber last May because of COVID. And I was doing professional development, and people were not interested in being developed professionally. We were trying to fight the pandemic. And so in that time, it gave me really opportunity to reflect, to see what is it that I really want to do in this next journey, right? So my background is actually social work. My degrees are in social work, and my master's degree is social work administrative leadership. So really wanting to merge my passion to give back and to help into something really cool and fun. And so obviously I'm a fan of sports. There was an opportunity that the Dallas Wings saw to really increase their philanthropic footprint. And so we just meshed the best of both worlds.
I'm just digging this logo. This is so dope right here. So tell me, how does a person that works in social work, and it seems like your position is social responsibility, but it's social like. So tell us how did this prepare you for your job that you have now?
Yeah, well, honestly, we're just really there to improve the quality of life for people. So that's across industries, that's across social issues. And so in social work, I've been able to do that, addressing mental health, homelessness, at-risk youth. But when I look at the WNBA, and I say this with great confidence, and recently actually got some statistics on it, the most progressive league among sports. I mean, our players are out at the forefront, frankly, with the most to lose, using their platform and their voices. And so I was inspired and empowered by that. But using what I've done in social work and, frankly, nonprofit management to bring that to sports when they have this amazing platform. I always say my job is to promote champions and change agents. And again, going to talk about our friend Enrique Ngubwali. just in July, she was out at the All-Stars. She also was our MVP
Yes.
for the All-Stars. But right before that game, the day before the game, she was out serving those that were in need of food in Las Vegas. And so then she came back. Dick's Foundation gave out equipment to young girls in need. And so nominated her for the WNBA Community Assist Award, which is sponsored by State Farm. And I'm so happy to share that she won. And on Sunday, we'll be providing her with a trophy and $5,000 to the charity of her choice. And so being able to do that, she is a champion. And now she's finding her lane as a change agent. And I'm just really excited to be a small part of that.
Yeah, so how often do you go out in the community with the players? What is that like on a daily basis or a weekly basis?
Yeah, so in my role, I'm actually responsible for all of their community appearances. Because of COVID, we've done mostly virtual events. Of course, we try to be safe, and so we're not able to have all of our players at one time out in the community because just God forbid anyone contracts COVID, we don't have a team, right? Mm-hmm. So we've done a lot of virtual outreach, which has really been great because we've been able to reach young people that are not here in market, but that love our players. And so we've been really intentional about finding out what the players are passionate about, what the issues are, and addressing those head on in real time.
Mm-hmm. Now, see, everyone may not be familiar with Enrique, but if you follow college basketball, women's college basketball, as I do, and I was there when she hit the 2 shots for the semifinals and finals to win the NCAA championship. No one in the history of college basketball has done that, men or women. Obviously, if this was a man, yes, I'm saying if it was a man, they'd have a statue probably by now, okay? Sure. And so she's been my favorite player, not because she hit those shots, but because of the way she plays the game, and her infectious smiles, and always represents her country. I love her, and I'm looking forward to meeting her one day, and I'm glad that she got this award and deserving of so on the cover of Slam magazine. This is a big honor. You don't usually see women on the cover of Slam. This is a big deal, and I remember the very first game that they played during the season. You and I were talking. I think they were double overtime game.
Yeah,
double overtime game, back-to-back double overtime games, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking about the WNBA, and it was funny because even though you're a sports fan, you were like, I'm telling you about certain players. You're like, wow, that's pretty fascinating, and I'm like, wow, this is it's like talking to a person that's now discovered something for the first time. And what I love about you is that most people have a job and they're just happy to be at the job and they get the job, collect the paycheck. You're excited about working for the Wings.
Absolutely. Again, these young players, our youngest player is 20. I think our oldest is 27. And so they're a lot younger than I am. Mm-hmm. And so they, and they're a lot taller than me. So I'm like their little big sister. But truly inspired. I talked a lot about Enrique, but we have also Satu, this is only her second season, and she's on the league's social justice committee because she's so passionate about social justice issues. We have Kayla Thornton, who's on our Players Association, so she's representing one of the players that are representing all of the players of the entire league. So these young ladies are saying, listen, these are issues that need to be addressed. We're going to address it, and they're challenging the status quo. I'm inspired by that. So every day I'm there to find out how I can make their jobs easier while they're doing the hard work in the paint, because y'all don't want to see me on the court. So I'm there to help them figure out what is their lane outside of the court and use their brand for good. And thankfully they make my job easy because all of them have their passion areas and all of them are doing great work off the court.
Now, do you do a lot of work with are you working with a lot of partners as part of partnership marketing? Because I know that you're doing something special right now with the YMCA. And our good friend Keith Vincent was just here earlier doing the show. Tell us about the relationship you have with the YMCA, and also with Alicia Gray. She's doing something really special. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have our corporate partnerships, and a lot of those do have community elements. But as you mentioned, I'm also the executive director for the Dallas Wings Community Foundation. I like to share that I'm the inaugural executive director, which means I founded the foundation and it launched March 1st of this year. So while we've always done great things in the community, I saw a need for us to really increase our philanthropic efforts and become a 501c3 and partner with other nonprofits. We can't do the work every day, but we know that they're doing amazing work, just as YMCA. So we're identifying those nonprofits that are doing the work that we can collaborate with. So speaking of Keith, he and I actually connected on LinkedIn. I'm from South Oak Cliff. He's doing a lot of great work in a lot of those urban communities. And so Alicia Gray, our gold medalist. Shout out to her, gold medalist. But she loves gaming. If you've met her, very meek, very quiet, but a beast on the court, but loves gaming. And so when we shared with her that in urban communities, there are not a lot of girls of color that are into gaming, and they don't know that this is a thing. And so Alicia's like, well, what can I do? They're going to have a tournament this weekend, and Alicia Gray, gold medalist, is going to play the winner of that. But she's also going to help them with some promotion to get young girls interested in gaming. And so we're super excited about that and happy to have someone who just came home and with the gold medal to really just give back to the community. So that's exciting. So we have that, and then we're always looking at community partners that, again, are doing the work every day that we are passionate about. Our foundation, our pillars are women and girls, social justice, which I cannot overexpress, is super important to the team and to the league, youth sports, health and wellness, and lastly, but equally important, education. So we find organizations that are doing that work every day and then identify our players that are passionate about those areas and give them an opportunity to give back.
Wow. So what when you decided to go about connecting with the community, how did you form those relationships? Was a lot of those relationships there from your chamber days, or did you have to kind of just regroup and create new relationships? What's that process been like for you?
Yeah, well, that's when I never took off my social work hat. So I've been in the community. I'm from Dallas. I'm from South Oak Cliff. So I've benefited from those resources as a young child, and so I've always remained connected. And yes, at the Dallas Regional Chamber, every major corporation, every major nonprofit, and every sports team, they're members of the chamber. So thankfully I was able to take those relationships. But more than anything, it's about me being in the community and having my ear to the ground and staying connected and then providing that information and awareness to our players and to our team.
Wow. Well, I'm just blown away by the work that you've done in a short period of time. When I met you, you was still trying to get it together, and now I look at you,
eyes wide open.
Yeah, and now it's like you're just beaming. You know, when I first met you, you were beaming, but now you're like, it's just your aura.
Just connecting the dots.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Connecting the dots. Yeah, it's like The Last Dragon with Timac. You remember Bruce Leroy, and he's glowing at the dark. Am I showing my age? Yes, I don't care. It's all good. People are like, what is he talking about? Last Dragon. Google it, okay? How about that? All right. So you're listening to Dr. Mark's Masterclass podcast on MAP Esports Network, powered by Innovation Media Enterprises. Aaron and Sia, thank you so much. Get well soon, my friends. My man Gage, thank you for being on the wheels of steel and making me sound so good. And we've got to also shout out my man Jacob Miles for our fearless and brilliant CEO for making this happen at MAP Esports. And we're here talking to LaDondra Wilson, the Vice President of Social Responsibility and Executive Director of the Dallas Wings of the WNBA Community Foundation. We're just talking so much about all the wonderful things that the Dallas Wings are doing. But I got a question for you, and I hope you thought about this. We talked about it a little bit when I walked in here. This is a esports, podcast, but I like to talk to people in the community and talk to people about what they're doing. What were you doing when you were a child? Did you play video games at all?
Listen, so my siblings and I are so far apart in age. My sister and I are 16 years apart. So I feel almost like an only child. So I was stuck in the house. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, you go out and you actually played outside, which was really cool. But
y'all don't know about playing outside.
But when the street lights came on and I had to be inside, then yes, I had a little game time. So I believe my introduction to gaming would have been probably the Super Nintendo. And of course, I was all about the Mario stuff. But then the Sega Genesis, that's when Sonic the Hedgehog, I was all about that as well. So yeah, after homework, before it was too late to go, when it was too late to be outside, I would come in and get a little gaming in.
Okay, do you still play?
I do not.
You do not play?
I do not have time.
I
do not have. No.
I'm laughing because I also have special guests inside the studio. You can't see him yet. My man Scotty Rogers. Love my man Scotty. I've known Scotty for years. One of the top communications experts in the world. He's here from the Cotton Bowl. He's going to be talking to us soon. But I'm looking at his face like, do you play video games? He's looking like, I don't play nothing. Don't you ask me that question.
I don't have time. And that's a whole nother podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, this thing right here is this thing does it all. Because back in the day, all we had was the rotary phone and the phone booth. Remember the phone booth?
Oh, yeah.
Had put quarters in that joint to talk to somebody. Well, I'm curious to know, as you think about doing all the things with community service and the city of Dallas, have you thought about, because I know that some of your players are playing esports and video games is very important in this society now. The city of Dallas is like the Silicon Valley for esports. What other things are you doing within the community around the gaming industry? Are you not wrap your hands around that piece of it yet, or are you just going by player?
Yeah, I think that, again, we look at what the players are passionate and what they're interested in. And so we don't want to leave any player out. So when I learned that Alicia, she's not the one that's going to be in front of the mic. I mean, she absolutely has had to because of winning the medal. But what I find that, what are you most passionate about? What is it that I don't have to convince you to do? And for her, it's gaming. So I think now we do have a space. Prior to her, there were players that obviously play games, but they're like, she enjoys playing games. Our owner, our president and CEO, he laughs because he says that his children, his son specifically, talks to Alicia more than he does because they're on Twitch playing the game. And so as soon as I find something that they're that committed to, that they can do just as much as they do basketball, then that's something we need to hone in on. And now that we know that there is a need in an underserved community, I think it's something that we do a lot more of in the future.
So tell me about this as far as opportunities for young people, college students, high school, but particularly college students. Of course, shameless plug to my students at Jarvis Christian College in Hawkins, Texas. How do you integrate getting young people at the university level involved with the Dallas Wings in terms of opportunity, whether it's internship, shadowing opportunities? Will those opportunities be available? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. I think it's of outreach. So just this week we did an HBCU virtual job fair. So again, when we talk about social justice, we're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And we know sometimes those students don't have the resources and probably are never thinking about working for a professional sports team. And so our friends at American Airlines sponsored that, and we were able to provide some education and opportunities about working in sports, and then also with American Airlines and other major corporations. But things that, again, wanting to be boots on the ground. September 28th is National Voter Registration Day. We're going to be at the University of Texas Arlington, which is where our arena and our home field is, our home court is, to register students to vote. Freshmen are coming in. They may not be registered to vote. So we're going to always connect to that generation that we think may otherwise, they may not be W fans. The W has been around for about 25 years, and so some of them may really not remember the start of the W. So we're going to always integrate them. We also, speaking of HBCUs, Paul Quinn is right in our backyard. So we've partnered with them from Juneteenth. We started a relationship with them, and we're continuing that. So we know that it's an untapped fan base that we feel like, one, we want to provide resources, but then we also want to connect with them in social issues as well.
See, well, we're a couple hours, like 2 hours up the road somewhere in Hawkins, but we're here.
Yeah, we want to hang out with Jarvis.
Yeah, we gotta bring Jarvis down and spend some time with you. Now, during the off season, once the playoffs are over with and you win your WNBA championship this year, what does the summer look like for you? Is it all work throughout the whole year? Do you take off? What's it like for you?
Yeah, so you alluded to it in my title. I'm also the Vice President of Social Responsibility for the Panther City Lacrosse Club, which is Fort Worth's first professional sports team. We'll play our inaugural game on December the 10th. So there are no days off. We are currently working on being in the community there in Fort Worth, literally at the same time as we have our season with the Wings. So we will also have a foundation for Panther City as well. So we will be doing that. I will be doing that. But again, the social issues don't stop when the last buzzer rings. So we will have most of our players go overseas, frankly, literally at the end of the buzzer, and within 48 hours they're all over the globe. But for those that stay here, we'll be able to continue to engage them. But we also, again, that's why we created the foundation, so we can continue our philanthropic work even when we don't have players. So now we're planning year ahead to find out what are those ways we can plug in when we don't have players, and so we'll continue to be in the community.
So talk a little bit about the Panther City Lacrosse Club. You just said that we're getting ready to have a professional lacrosse team in Dallas?
Fort Worth.
Fort
Worth's first professional sports team.
What is their season like? How many games do they play?
They start in December, and frankly, they will actually end right up to when we start the W again.
Wow.
Yeah, there may actually be a couple of overlapping games depending on how well they do.
Is it indoors or outdoors?
It is box lacrosse, which is indoor. So think of hockey and lacrosse. So all of the kind of fighting that's authorized, fast paced, high scoring, all the things. Now, listen, I'm from the hood. We did not have lacrosse. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't playing lacrosse like that. But I'm happy to say this year, as far as our community engagement opportunities, one of our things is youth sports and providing access. So if a young black girl like me from Oak Cliff had never heard of it, how many others had? But I was pleasantly surprised to learn Bridge Lacrosse, which is Oak Cliff-based nonprofit from kindergarten to 12, have lacrosse teams, co-ed, girls and boys. Bridge Lacrosse won the state championship 1 week after we were there. Now, it wasn't because we were there. We just went to go hang out and do some coaches clinic. The kids were already dope. Won the state championship, black and brown kids.
Wow.
So they'll be at our first game. Shout out to Bridge Lacrosse. They're great. David Higby is over there. But what we learned, and I talked about this with our general manager, youth of color that are athletes, they usually, you see, they're doing track, baseball. So, I mean, when these kids get a ball in their hand, they have the speed, they have the agility, transferable skills. So we've gone to other schools that have never heard of lacrosse like myself, and they've taught them, shown them a couple of drills, and within 30 minutes, these kids are like rocking. And he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's black girl magic, black boy joy. We're doing the thing. So we're super excited to provide that to other communities that, again, have not heard it, and to get those kids in Fort Worth to see the game live.
Wow. You said a lot there. Black girl magic, black boy joy. Wow. I had to say it slowly because I let it resonate. And it's amazing because I grew up in the suburbs in New Jersey, so obviously I'm very familiar with lacrosse. But you don't see that many people of color playing the sport. Even though there are a lot of the players that do play are of color, they have been phenomenal players. So let's kind of pivot with that, with the lacrosse and esports, because there's not a lot of people of color that are represented in terms of the job opportunities in esports. Same thing with lacrosse. What do you think it's going to take to create pathways for people of color, especially with Dallas being the Silicon Valley of esports in the nation? What do you think it's going to take for more women, more people of color to get connected to that space?
Yeah, I think mostly it's exposure. They have, they don't know if they can't see it, right? Yeah. And so for us, and what I've done on the wing side, and we'll do this with Panther City, is getting those young kids and those people of color and marginalized communities at the game. They have to see the product. They have to see it to believe it. And then from there is providing education and then providing opportunities. So we also plan to do what we'll call Stick for Kids, and we'll go into schools and we'll make sure that they have the actual equipment. It's one thing to come and show them and tell them what it is, and then bounce, and they never have the opportunity to actually play.
Yeah, it's interesting. Our good friend over here from Taiwan, she lived in Australia. So when you're talking about lacrosse being like a combination between hockey and lacrosse indoors, she loves Australian football. So I'm sure you'd be excited about that, seeing people knock each other out, right? So, but in esports, we don't do that. There's no violent games in esports. So I just want to remind everyone again, we're listening to Dr. Mark's Masterclass podcast on the MAP Esports Network, powered by Innovation Media Enterprises. Aaron and Sia, get better soon. Gage, thank you, my man. Thank you, my brother. We're over here talking to my dear friend LaDondra Wilson from Oak Cliff, the Vice President of Social Responsibility and Executive Director of the Dallas Wings Community Foundation. And we're talking about so many wonderful things. So if someone wanted to get in contact with you, how would they get in contact with you?
Listen, I professionally stalk people on LinkedIn all the time. So hit me up on LinkedIn.
Professionally stalking. I don't know if I recommend that part.
No,
that's
it's a
funny.
thing.
It's funny, though. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Tell us about the thing.
Listen, the way I got this job was actually not because it was someone that I already knew.
Right.
Now, it was networking, and we're all like connected at some point. We just don't know it, right? But the young lady that my boss, my role was developed. It's a new role. The Wings never had this. So my boss reached out to someone that he knew he had worked with previously that worked in the DEI space, and, told her, hey, we're creating this role. Won't you come work with us? And she's like, I'm not there anymore. I'm in D.C. and I'm not coming back. So he told her to reach out to her networks. Her and I had never met. A couple of people that she's done leadership programs with, and I've done a million. A few different people gave her my name. So sister went straight to LinkedIn to make sure I'm legit. All the stuff people are telling them, is this real? So if my LinkedIn wasn't popping, I probably wouldn't have got the call from her. And then me and her talked. She's like, I'm gonna recommend you. Never met her, still never met her. I need to meet her. But that happened because, again, I'm on LinkedIn always sharing what I'm doing, not just what I'm doing, but what other amazing people are doing. And so from that, in this short time in the sports community, again, I'm amazed and amused with the stuff that I get to do that's like super fun, super busy, sometimes overwhelming, but it's super impactful. And so I'm always sharing that on LinkedIn. And so from that, I've been able to convert new W fans, new Wings fans, and new LaDondra fans. So that's kind of cool. But
I'm looking at your post right now. So you got the Slam magazine up here. I'm looking to see if you actually promoted yourself in the top 40 under 40.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah,
you did
sure.
good, because I'm like, if you didn't, I'm gonna promote it.
Oh no, that's dope. Like, I'm just gonna be real. You don't see any black girls on the cover in Dallas Business Journal often.
No.
Not from sports and not from South Oak Cliff. That's just the real tea. So that's super exciting. So yes, that is on my LinkedIn. But no, LinkedIn, hit me up. Inbox sometimes is a little crazy, but I do respond via LinkedIn.
She's got a lot of followers, so you make sure you hit her up. And so
it's kind of crazy.
It is crazy. See,
it's actually even kind of turned into like a little dating site. I went in there one day and it was like, hey, I was like, this is not what this is for.
It's for anything you want it to be.
That's not true.
Okay.
That's not
anything you want it to be, like Visa, right? No.
Those
Seriously.
messages are unanswered.
Seriously, do not hit her up if you're trying to go out with the sister. If you want to get to know her,
unless you are a great candidate.
So we changed the game. Now we turn this into a dating site here on LinkedIn, okay?
It's selective.
Selective, okay? So let me tell you something. Before you hit my sister, I'm going to check you out, okay?
Thank you, brother.
Okay?
Thank you.
Because my LinkedIn is, you know what I'm saying. But I'm going to make sure that you are legit and you're not hollering at my sister if you're not on point. The sister is on point. She's doing her thing. VP of Social Responsibility, Executive Director of Dallas Wings. Community Foundation, you cannot come at her halfway, my friend.
Thank
you.
You
cannot. You cannot. You got to be dope. Like your boy.
Dope.
That's what I'm saying. Anyway, it's been amazing talking to you. We have got to come down to, I don't know, just for a whole day. What shadow you? Could our young girls from Jarvis Christian,
we could do a couple at a time. It's still COVID out here, so we got
like 5 at a time, 3 at a time, 2 at a time. Oh, she said 2. You thought the number 5. You didn't know the 3. She didn't know 2. Yeah. So we're going to have 2 lucky young ladies from Jarvis Christian College to come down and spend a day with my dear friend here. And then also look at the lacrosse, too, as well.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's going to be dope.
I'm going to be learning, so y'all can come learn with me. So.
Oh, yeah. And that's going to start on December.
December 10th is our first game at Dickies Arena. That's in Fort Worth. That's comparable to American Airlines. So where Mavs playing over there, we're going to have that many people in Dickies Arena on December the 10th watching the Panther City Lacrosse Club.
How many does it seat there?
I believe it is close to 10,000.
Wow. Yeah. And you're expecting that many?
Yes.
Wow.
Because y'all are going to be there.
Oh, so you heard that. Okay, so we're promoting that as well. So, again, you know how to contact my girl here on LinkedIn. And if you don't know how to spell her name, it's LaDondra Wilson. Let me say that again to all the people that don't speak as fast as me because I'm from Jersey. LaDondra Wilson, Wilson. Check her out. Request her. Be careful what you say to her in your inbox. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're looking fly and you dope and you on point, then maybe a little something. So again, thank you so much, LaDondra, for coming out today. I had a great time with you. You got to come back again. You have a good time today?
Love to. Oh yeah, this was fun. Easy breezy. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Look at this. Look at this.
Shout out to the Dallas Wings. Wish us luck. Sunday is our last game.
They don't need luck. They're gonna be fine.
Listen, we want all the prayers and the good vibes. We're
vibes.
Currently number 8 seed, but we have the opportunity to move up to number 7. But we clinched the playoffs, so it's going down. We hope to be in Chicago on Thursday, and I'll be there with the ladies.
Yeah, once they win and they come back here, then I will be at the next Dallas game. Again, thank you so much for coming out. This is an amazing day. Again, when we do this podcast, I don't know how other people do their podcast, but I try to keep it funky and fresh. You know what I'm saying? I love the people that I interview. I interview people that I know, and if I don't know them, they're going to know me, and they're going to feel me. We don't have to always be so serious all the time. Sometimes you got to just let your hair down. I don't have that much hair, but, black man, we can't take our hats off if we don't get out, we don't get, the fade, you know what I'm saying? So people know that I don't got my fade done, so I got to wear the hat. That's why I'm rocking it. Got to get my hair cut tomorrow, you know what I mean? So anyway, thank you again for listening to Dr. Mark's Masterclass podcast on the MAP Esports Network. Powered by Innovation Media Enterprises. Aaron and Sia get well soon. My dear friends, my producers, and my man Gage on the Wheels of Steel. Again, Jacob Miles, thank you for this wonderful opportunity. Remember, my friends, you can't control anybody else. You can't control anybody, okay? This right here is going to save lives, okay? And remember, you can control 3 things: what you think, what you do, and what you say. Yeah, what you think, what you do, and what you say. I was going to do that. Say what? Yeah, that's what you do. What you think, what you do, and what you say. We're out of here. Peace.